All right, welcome back to another episode of Private Practice Practically. On today's show, we have a very, very special and important guest, Josh Dunham. Josh, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, for those of us that don't really know you or what you do, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I am with Silent Beacon. I have served in roles as vice president of sales as well as strategic partnerships, and we are a panic button solution. So it's a personal safety device that folks use in their personal lives, or they can use professionally. In this case, clinicians, therapists leverage our device to access 911 or emergency services immediately in the event of an emergency. And so I've been working with Silent Beacon now for actually at the time of this recording, it's a year that I've been with Silent Beacon. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think this is kind of on everybody's radar, especially considering the tragedy that happened in Florida last month, where a therapist was just brutally, you know what I mean? There was
Yeah.
a client that walked in and forced his way in there. And I think he might have committed suicide afterwards, but it was just a really big tragedy to just, um, to have a therapist who's really kind of taking care of people, right? Trying to help people. And for that to happen it's just awful.
Mhm.
Thought it was really fitting. And thank you, Josh, for being here and to discuss some of this. I'd like to know more about your products and specifically how they help therapists. Can you kind of tell us more?
Yeah, definitely. So specifically to therapists, in your world, in your profession, when you think about what they're doing on or what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, the folks that you're working with, and the work in general, oftentimes you can be in compromising situations. It's solo work. You're going one-on-one with folks. And so the vulnerability aspect is a bit higher than some other professions. And so what we do is we provide or we arm clinicians and therapists, mental health professionals with the device as a way to, in the event of an emergency, essentially contact 911 or emergency services immediately. And one of the things that's really great about what we do is we're connected via Bluetooth to a device. And so it allows that clinician or that therapist to get in contact with somebody immediately with the push of a button. And most importantly, they can do it discreetly. So if there is an opportunity or if there is a situation where they do not want the other person to know that they have contacted emergency services, there's a way for that to be a discreet button push. And then you are able to, via a microphone and a speaker on the device, speak directly to the person that is going to be sending somebody or is responsible for getting you the help that you need.
Yeah, that's really cool, Josh. So what does it look like? Is it like a bracelet? Is it kind of like something that you put on your desk maybe?
Yeah, let me see. I can. So this is it right here.
Yeah.
So you can see here, in this form, it's a watch. So you could have it on your wrist, similar to an Apple Watch, as you see here. What's also great about it is, I'll show you, is you can take off the wristband, and it can become it just becomes a pendant. And it comes with a clip, so you can clip it onto a bag, a jacket, a shirt, your pants, a belt, and then it has the buttons on the side, on either side. And what you're able to do with those buttons is, depending on how it's being worn and how discreet you want to be, it could be on a lanyard. You just hit that button, and it's automatically contacting whoever you've programmed into the device. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, so is it only 911? Is it only, is that how it's defaultly programmed? Is it no? It's up to that organization or the individual, depending on how they're using it, to program the device for. It could be a supervisor, it could be a team lead, it could be an internal security team, it could be emergency services, it could be 911, but it's really up to the discretion of that therapist or their organization to determine where that call is being placed.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. Now, Josh, as far as the device itself, being able to wear as a pendant or is there a way to kind of clip it onto a desk? Like, for example, a lot of therapists kind of sit on their on a chair, you know, as they're
Mhm.
seeing a client? Like, is there a way to maybe clip it onto like a end table or a coffee table that's nearby?
It does come with a clip. The whole idea is that we want it to be mobile. So we aren't a traditional stationary panic button. So you can leave it in one place on your desk if you'd like. You could clip it to maybe the underside of maybe a drawer or something on the inside of your desk if you'd
Yeah.
like. But we think, in the way that we think about it or look at it is, and what I say often is, if something goes down, heaven forbid, and you need to get to the device, you obviously want it within an arm's reach. You want to have it either right there with you or on you. However, if you don't have it and it's stationary or clipped to a desk, and you're on the other side of the room and somebody might be in between you and that device, you're trying to get out, and I'm more times than not, you're not going to go back into the room to get it. So we're all about making sure it stays on you, worn. But yes, you can have it on the desk. You can have it somewhere near you that's quick and easy to get to.
Yeah.
And I think what's most important about that is we want to take the kind of, we don't want you to have to think about it, right? So we want folks to just kind of have that muscle memory reaction, versus if you had to grab a phone and you had to swipe up and you had to hit your code or you had to do the facial recognition in a moment of emergency or a moment of high adrenaline, so you're going through it, your mind's not functioning the way that it would normally. And so we just want it to be boom, click of the button, and then you go about doing what you have to do to get yourself safe.
Yeah.
And the person on the other end of that other device, whoever you've called, is going to be able to hear you the entire time.
Yeah, dude. And as you're saying that, it just kind of it just brings to mind the fact that in a situation like that, you never know where you're going to be. Like, you could be walking to the bathroom, and then on your way back from the restroom going to your office, like, something could happen. You could hear something, and it comes down to seconds in those emergency situations sometimes, right? So like, if you can cut 3 seconds response time from going to your phone, like you mentioned, to swipe up and call 911, I mean, that could be the difference between life or death, and
Oh,
not trying to,
100%.
right?
And
Like,
that's
yeah,
what we hear most often, right? Is, you know, we want people want to get to emergency services quick, and then we want them to forget that that's something that they have to do. That part's
mhm,
done. You are in contact immediately with somebody, and you're able to have that conversation via the device because it has the two-way audio, which is a big differentiator for us, is being able to have that conversation directly and hands-free, right? So I'm not having to go, hey, I'm stuck, I need somebody help me, I'm being attacked. It's right on you here, or it's on somewhere and you've hit it, and you're able to continue either defending yourself, defending somebody else, or administering help to somebody, right? We
mm,
recently had a piece that came out in Chicago with an organization we work with called AID Cares, where the person who was using it was trying to help somebody else. So they wanted to be hands-free. They called 911 with the device, and they were working on that individual and able to communicate with the emergency services directly through the device, rather than having to hold the phone or have it open or maybe on speaker. It's the last thing that they needed to worry about because it was already on their person.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Having that second limb available to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need to is huge, I
Oh,
think.
100%.
You mentioned, I think you might have said the word features that make you kind of different. So I kind of want to piggyback off that and just kind of ask, like, what makes your company, your device, kind of different than some of the other devices out there?
That's a great question. So starting off, I would say um, the two-way audio feature, and to paint that picture, being able to, because it's has the speaker and the microphone, and you're able to have that conversation immediately upon making that call. That's a big differentiator for us. And what I mean is, other devices or other solutions, what's required is that call is being placed to a third party who's then verifying that an emergency is going on, which in many respects kind of is just kind of cancels the reason why you would want to have. I mean, in that moment, you want to have access to the emergency. You don't want to have to wait for somebody to then verify and then on your behalf call 911 to send, right? So something that really sets us apart is having that conversation with emergency or 911 right away. It is mobile, tethered to the Bluetooth phone, so that could be Apple or it could be Android. So it's piggybacking off of the technology of the phone. So that could be Wi-Fi, it could be cellular, it could be satellite. Inexpensive. And really the silent feature, so you're able to carry on a conversation where all of the speaker, all of the LED lights or any of the vibration, anything that would draw attention to the device in an emergency is deactivated, and you're able to actually carry on that conversation where they hear you, but nothing's coming from the device that would cause an agitator to become more angry or to escalate the situation. And then also real live GPS location. So when that call is placed, the people on the other end know exactly where you are. So simultaneously to that call going out, there's contacts that are also programmed into the device that allow other people on your team, other people within your practice, family members know that you're in emergency while you're on the phone with the emergency services. So instead of me calling 911, hey, I'm in trouble, and then getting off and then calling everybody else to let them know, there's a notification that goes out to everybody that you've programmed in the device or on the device to let them know that you are in an emergency, and it shows your exact location.
Josh, dang, as you were saying all that, man, I kind of got the goosebumps. Just hearing like the application of it is so kind of surreal and wild to think about, how these things can help address certain situations. So let me kind of back up for a second. So you press the button and you can program the device to call 911 directly. Now, will the device, you said send messages, so will it send like a text, or will it also call, or is it like a notification that goes through to the other numbers?
So there's text message, there's push notification. We have mass alert feature, meaning that it can send out to everybody within the organization. So if it's being used on an institutional level, so if it's a practice, you can set up pre-recorded calls, pre-recorded or pre-built emails, text messages that go out for certain things. Like think about if you had like a code blue or a code orange or a code red, you could program that into the device and it could send that out, or you could send that out using the system that we have, or our dashboard, if you will. But when you're using the device and you go into an emergency alert, or sorry, you activate the emergency mode, it's going out in a text message, and it's also going out in an email to know them, to let the people know that you're in an emergency. And that's up to how the individual sets it up. When they download the app, because it pairs with a free smart app, and you can choose the contacts that you want to be notified.
Got it. So whoever is the practice owner, whoever the practice owner designates to be the security officer or the manager, and they program the device, they can actually customize how the notifications get sent out and what kind of notifications get sent out. That's really cool. So let's say they do the text option, and there's a clinician who's experiencing an emergency situation. They press the emergency mode panic button. Now what will the receiver receive? Like if it's a text message, will it just be like, hey, this person activated the emergency mode,
Josh is in an emergency, he needs help?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then it'll say, and then it gives a link or a pin to show you where they are. So it'll open a map and show you where they are and what their location is.
Got it. Ooh, that's really cool. And I like that. It sounds that at an enterprise level, you can send it out to as many people as you deem necessary. Yeah. Wow,
and you can do it by teams, you can do it by shifts. So if you look at it from a practice standpoint, you'd have somebody who's the administrator, right? So you could think about the practice owner, or maybe the office manager. And what they would do is they go in and they program every single user. So you could see all of the people who have the device or the app. You could see who or what teams they're on. You can see who they've assigned as their, what we call a dispatcher. So when that emergency is happening, who's receiving that call. And you can do it by person. Everybody doesn't have to have 911, or everybody doesn't have to have the internal security team. It is totally up to the discretion of that practice or that organization to determine where that call's going.
Got it. So it doesn't necessarily have to go automatically by default to 911.
No.
They could program it to go to office manager
Mm-hmm.
or the leadership of the organization. That's
100%.
really cool. Yeah, that's really awesome, Josh. So I wonder how. I know you mentioned pressing the button. Do you mind holding it back up on the camera so we
Yeah.
can actually see what the button looks like?
So there's going to be, so you see here on the side, it's a little raised button there. So you could see right there. So this is the button. So all I have to do in an emergency is I hold that button down for a second and a half. It places the call immediately. And then what you'll be able to do is as soon as that call is placed, you'll be able to, it's dialing 911 immediately,
Oh, that's really
or
cool.
whatever number you've programmed.
Yeah, that's really cool. Josh, in as far as the company's concerned and a practice owner, right? They're dealing with a lot, running personnel and clients and insurance stuff. Can somebody at your company help kind of walk the practice owner through the setup and getting everything up and running?
That's a big part of what we do. And going back to what you asked about what sets us apart, I would say how hands-on we are with the clients, with those who are evaluating the solution, because we understand how important it is to integrate it into their safety protocol. And while we want it to be something that you set up, it's kind of like, you think about it like a seatbelt. You get in, put your seatbelt on, and then you forget about it. But the important part is getting it set up. So from the moment you become a client, we're working with you, your team. We're training the appropriate folks on how the device works, how to set up the dashboard, how to set up the users, how to make sure that everybody is up and running and using the device properly. And so we have, from the moment that you're talking to somebody to sell you and bring you on, to post-sale customer support and success, we have a team that is dedicated to making sure that all goes smoothly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Josh, I wonder, what has the feedback been from clinicians that have already started using some of your devices?
Oh, wow. Great question. I think that one of the things that we hear the most is the peace of mind play. And it's so important for clinicians and therapists, especially those who are working alone, those who are going into one-on-one situations, to have the peace of mind and knowing that if something were to happen, they're confident in the tool and the resource that they have to get help quickly. And I think that's gone such a long way in a variety of ways, really. I think mentally for those therapists and the clinicians and the mental health professionals, but it allows them to set boundaries, right? So when they're going out and they're working with these people one on one, they're more confident in doing what they do, right? They're not constantly thinking about, well, what if something goes wrong? Or, I'm by myself. If something goes wrong, I have no way out. This gives them that peace of mind, and it gives them that confidence to continue doing the work that they're doing. And also, I think it's important when a company or an organization implements a panic button solution, the message that sends to their staff and their employees, that safety is paramount, that safety is critical. I think clinicians, and I think their mental space in that scenario is very like, wow, safety is important. My organization, my employer, my company takes it seriously. And they're arming me with something like this. It just gives me the confidence to go and do the work that I want to do. And I think that's something that we hear a lot is peace of mind, confidence to do my work. I know that I'm safe if something goes wrong. And also something else that we say all the time is it's something that you want to have and not need versus need and not have, right?
Ooh,
And
yes.
so having that is critical. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. It's one of those things that's like I think of it like a car jack, like
Hmm.
you don't really need it. It's kind of a hindrance. It takes up space, but
Yep.
that one time that your tire goes out and you need to lift that car up, it's like I wish I had that dang jack.
Exactly
And
right.
yeah, totally. And I think in this regard, talking about these emergency situations, I mean that's the stakes are even higher. And so I think what you're saying just makes total sense to me is like you prefer to just have it and not need it
Mhm.
than need it
Exactly
and not
right.
have it.
And imagine, and I say this with clients a lot, you have the people who understand it right away, right? You have the practices and you have the therapists that it's a no-brainer. And boom, here's a panic button. We need it. How do we get this implemented? This is such a saving grace in the event that we need it. 100% no-brainer. Let's go. Then you have other people that need a little bit more. They want to talk about it, but they want to ask a bit more questions. They want to know, okay, why do we need this? What's so important? I have my phone, or I can do this. But again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the call, in those moments of stress, in those moments of, chaos and not knowing what to do, it's split seconds. I mean, you said you were in the military, so you understand that. And no perpetrator and no aggressor is going to give you the time to go and hold on, let me grab my phone, let me call the emergency,
let me dig it out of my purse. Yeah,
no one's doing that. And so put yourself in a situation. So any of those people who will say, well, I have my phone, or I could do this, or I could do that, or it comes down to, okay, in the moment, what's the one thing that you want to be able to do? The easiest thing, muscle memory almost. Get to emergency services, forget about it, defend yourself, defend somebody else, help somebody else. And trust me, hope it never happens. But if it does, I pray that you have that. You have something, and in this case, Silent Beacon to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, as you were saying that, it just kind of made me wonder about a lot of private practice owners may not necessarily have like a safety plan. They might not have like a whole protocol. They might not even onboard their people. When it comes to safety, like they onboard people like how to use their EHR system and how to take care of clients and how to write their notes and all the general private practice stuff. Do you all also maybe consult with your clients to kind of build out a safety plan or like some kind of safety SOP?
Absolutely. So in cases where the client is asking for whether that's recommendations or if they want us to sit down with them and talk about how this is maybe the centerpiece, what that would look like. How do you build out around this? What would we recommend, or what would that look like? Or how have other clients or how have other people in your space leveraged the solution? Whether that's getting it off the ground as its own standalone, or you already have a safety protocol and you're integrating it into something that already exists. Yeah, we have team members and we have part of our team that will sit down and we'll work with you on what we think best practice wise works. And yeah, I think that's a big part of what we're doing. We do that now, but I think that's a big part of what we're doing in the future is more, hey, how are we that thought leader? How are we the organization that helps practices, mental health professionals leverage it the best possible way? And I think with all of the industry knowledge and the subject matter experts that we have within Silent Beacon, leveraging that in the way that you asked, I think is super important and critical to our success in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just makes me think about the training aspect, like when somebody's being onboarded, let's say a new hire at an agency and they're being onboarded, typically takes like a week or two to get all the accesses and everything set up. This could be a component of that onboarding, and now, I wonder if y'all also have any kind of training material, maybe some videos that can be incorporated into the onboarding process that a practice has.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So we do it live, but we also have videos and we have tutorials that can walk people through. So if they need refreshers, if they need to go back and quickly see, hey, what does this button do? Or wait, how do I engage this mode? There's ways that you can go about our videos that we have that you could use to kind of bring yourself up to speed or a team up to speed.
Awesome. Josh, going back to the device itself, let's say somebody presses the panic button and then the call's made, let's say to 911, but then the perpetrator or the aggressor or the person who's just kind of acting up that seems to be a threat, they leave. They just like storm out. Is there a way to kind of disengage that, turn that off, or will?
So we have a so people ask about false alarms a lot. And it's normally the other way around. So if I were to just push it, like just one real quick and it called, that could be a problem because you could have a false alarm. But we have it to where it's a second and a half and then it places that call. If that happens and the person leaves, typically you stay on the line and you just explain, hey, look, I was in this situation. whatever, they will probably send people out. But you can also, we tell folks to have the conversation and just let them know what happened once the emergency services pick up, and then they'll have their protocols on what to do. Now, if it's an internal security team or a supervisor, of course, you're just letting them know what happened. If they have to at that moment escalate things to 911 or official emergency services, they can. But having that conversation, if it does go to 911, and letting them know, I was in a situation where X, Y, and Z was happening. This perpetrator has run off. They're still probably going to want to know where they went, which way, provide them with the information that they need. But importantly, we've eliminated the false alarm by making it a second and a half, so that you're not accidentally bumping it in your pocket, or if it's on a lanyard, you're hitting it while doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense that it's probably a good idea to just follow through with the conversation and let the authorities know, like, hey, there was this person, they've left, but just like, this is a panic button. Now, if the device is set to call 911, do they recognize that it's a panic button? Or
it's just coming from the phone because it's Bluetooth.
Oh, got it.
So
Okay.
since it's tethered to the phone, it's placing the call via the phone. So
right.
it's as though the 911 dispatcher is receiving it from the phone.
From the phone.
So any of the information that they're already gathering, they're going to be receiving when
Got
you
it.
use the panic button.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Really cool. Josh, one last question for you. What about pricing? How does that work? Is it like a monthly membership kind of thing? Are you comfortable discussing now, or is that kind of unique to each a client?
Yeah, great question. I think it depends. It's one of two ways. So if I'm an individual, so we'll just use me, we'll use you as a therapist. If you're working for yourself, and it's just you probably just want to buy the device. And if we have subscription plans where you can upgrade and add some of the more in-depth GPS location features, or adding more contacts that you can contact in the event of emergency, you can go through what those plans are as an individual. So you just buy it off of our site, or you buy it from Amazon. It comes in the box. You can go online. You can see exactly what those subscription plans are. The base model is free, so doesn't cost anything to put in an emergency contact and program 911. Now, if you're a practice and say you have 50 therapists, then what we have is, it's called ESS. It's called Enterprise Safety Solutions. And that is the device. And it comes with the dashboard. It comes with the user management piece, the compliance piece, the reporting piece. And that's where you're assigning an administrator that's going in and making sure everybody's set up appropriately. And it's straightforward pricing as well. So we lease the devices. We have yearly contracts. It could be year, 3, 5 years. And we're doing on a per user, per month basis. And then there's a startup fee. And then there are some monthly maintenance for like cloud storage for the data. But that's really it. One of the great things about us is that we don't have to go to your location and install hardware, or we have to put anything in. We don't have to drill holes because it's all tethered to the phone. And so we're really cost friendly in that respect. And it's really, really straightforward. So a company calls, they say they have 40 therapists. We package up the devices, we send them the devices, and then we set up and begin the onboarding process, which is training that point of contact on how to use the device, how they roll it out across their organization. We can do a multitude of trainings, workshops, in person, however the organization needs it, we can meet those demands.
Yeah, and it sounds like you can really customize your solutions to fit the client's requirement. And
Absolutely.
I think that's really cool. Josh, is there an opportunity for clinicians who are kind of on the fence, or like, I don't really know, I'm kind of like on a shoestring budget? Is there a way for them to kind of test it? Like, maybe is it like a 7-day trial where they get maybe like a used one or something, and they set it up and kind of get the feel for it?
Yeah, if it's an organization and they want to test out a couple of devices before rolling it out, absolutely. So we have a number of different companies right now that are trialing devices. And so what they'll do is they'll get those, and they'll have kind of a preset criteria. Hey, we need to make sure it does this. We need to make sure that it pairs. We need to make sure that it does, it places the call, how many contacts we can, any of those things. And then what we'll do as an organization at Silent Beacon is, before we do that, we'll probably ask a few questions like, hey, if we do X, Y, and Z, We just want to know that this would be the solution that you guys move forward with. And so we work with the client on that trial to make sure that we're meeting those demands and making sure that anything that whatever they'd be doing during that time, that we're supporting them the best that we can. But yeah, absolutely. The answer to your question is yes, we have people who trial the devices for sure.
Josh, thank you so much. This has been extremely informative. I really appreciate you sharing about your company and about this device. I think it's, just a great solution, a great idea for any clinician that's either operating solo or a practice that has a bunch of therapists. Because, therapists are by themselves, in an office with a client that could potentially be dysregulated, and stuff can happen. And, one life is too many. And so I just think if this can help kind of save a life, that's extremely worth it. By the way, everybody, I'm not affiliated with the company. I'm not getting any kind of kickback. Just want to throw that out there. I'm just want to share information. Josh, thanks again. One last question, Josh. Where can people reach you or your company and maybe partner up with you and your services?
So you could go to just silentbeacon.com. Very straightforward. And if anybody wants to reach out directly, email is josh@silentbeacon.com. And I would get you in contact with the folks on our sales team that could get these devices and into your hands and start working with you on a plan to better outfit your organization and your staff with a panic button solution. And so just silentbeacon.com, josh@silentbeacon.com, and we'll get you all sorted.
Josh, thanks again, man. This has been great and informative. Maybe we could do it again in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. I think that it's great. And what you're doing is great. I think that sharing the message and the more awareness that we can get around what it is that we're doing and arming and making sure that therapists in the industry as a whole are appropriately outfitted with the proper safety devices. I think it's super, super important, especially with the way the world is going right now. So the work that you're doing is super critical, and the work that those that are in the group and then just in the industry in general, I think it's amazing. So great work.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. All right, everybody, signing out.
All right.
Bye now.